You're such an asshole.
We have what is seemingly a complicated topic, but it has a simple answer or solution. It's not that complicated when you think about it. So let's go through it. How much for a video on this question? Given most of the developed world is below replacement birth rate levels, is it better to deal with the consequences of population collapse within the developed world, or better to import workers from the underdeveloped world to replace the native population? Let's stop right here. The biggest, maybe the biggest lie, the wrongest premise everyone is operating by is that population decline is bad. Why is population decline bad? Like if it came from war or pestilence or the plague, yes, okay, then people already alive are dying. That's bad. But if people have less kids, so what? The population goes down. Let's just use Japan as an example because, well, we could use any country, but Japan's an island. It in our mind, it's very specific group of people in a specific located island. Let's say in one generation, half the Japanese people are gone. All right. And they just didn't, half the people didn't want to have kids next. Okay. They willingly made the choice then. And so, oh, but the population went down. That doesn't matter. All that matters is, did their GDP per capita go down? Did their standards of living go down? It's okay if populations decrease. There's nothing good or wrong if a population increases. There's nothing good or wrong, good or bad if a population decreases. Did the people that remain, did they produce the same amount of GDP? Are they working? Is there the same amount of economic production? It's perfectly all right not to have children. That's fine. And a lot of people, but what about this? What? Okay, let's what would happen? You have a large population, and then the young population takes over, that they're half the size of the old population. So what? You inherit two houses? You your uncles and aunts didn't have children, and so they give you the money? So there's like this huge economic benefit because the younger generation that is half the size of the older generation inherits all the wealth of the previous generation. I'm trying to see what a problem is with that. There are economic arguments like, okay, well, now you got infrastructure that has to be maintained by half the people. You don't need all these roads. You don't need all these. In Japan, it would be trains. What would happen to the value of the buildings? Like they're not going to house that many people anymore. You're right. Their market value may go down. You would have to expend a little bit more money on a per capita basis to maintain an infrastructure that's designed for something twice the size of the population. But in the grand scheme of things, all right, well, then you got all this extra wealth. All right, fine. You could probably afford it. It's okay to scale down. It's okay. Oh, that building isn't used anymore. We should probably demolish it and put a park there. Okay, it's going to cost a little bit of money. You're right. But traffic's going to loosen up a lot. There's nothing wrong with the population decreasing. It's okay. And some people would take it to the extreme, but then they won't exist anymore. Well, maybe traffic was a pain in the ass. Maybe there are cultural reasons people didn't want to have kids, and those things will change over time. The Japanese people are not going to be wiped out unless you like physically were to wipe them out. They'll be around. It's not our concern. We don't have to determine whether people should have kids or not. So let's dispense with that big lie and that incredibly false premise that declining populations are somehow a bad thing. They're not bad. They're not good. They're just a thing. The reason the developed world, here's where the real brass tacks comes in. The reason the developed world is concerned about declining populations is because the most important thing in the developed world is the welfare state. They want their free shit. Specifically, old people who want their Social Security or whatever your pensions are called in Europe and overseas. And this is also an issue in Japan. The only reason we give a shit about declining populations in the West is because, frankly, a bunch of boomers and boomer politicians know that if they don't get more tax revenue in, your social security system is going to fail because it is a Ponzi scheme. We rely on the production of young people to tax to pay for all the gimme dats in the welfare state, but especially when we're talking generations, social security or whatever the social pension system is called in other developed nations. That's it. That's why they're, oh my God, it's and to show you how stupid the average Westerner is, oh my God, the population is going down. Oh no, down number goes. Oh no, crisis. And here's the other thing is it really shows you to the extent that the West so doesn't care about Western civilization, doesn't care about Western culture, has been completely successful into essentially becoming a bunch of Minnesotans. What I mean by that is they hate themselves. Oh yeah, bring in all the other immigrants and different cultures and replace us. Because, not always, but mostly because we want the welfare state. We want our free shit. It's more important to us to have free shit. Either we get the free shit or we get to vote for free shit because that's sadly the core value for many Westerners alive today is that I vote to help other people with other people's money. I wish I was joking about how sad and pathetic that was, but that's how sad and pathetic many people are, where it's, ooh, socialism and Democrat and leftism, that's my value. I want to help the poor people. Domestic or immigrant doesn't matter. That's their God. In the West, I'd have to do polling and look at it. It wouldn't surprise me at all if 1/3 of Westerners alive today, native born, the most important thing in their lives, their religion is socialism or leftism or free shit for other people paid for by other people, not them. They just want to be popular. They just they want to say, I did the right thing and fought for I was going to save the planet. Save the world, whatever, save something. So you factor that in. Then you factor in the old timers like, I need my social security. And then the politicians of the left variety, but not exclusively, they know, oh shit, we don't get more. If we don't get more people in here to work and pay the taxes, well, then we're going to have some real financial troubles. My point would be, why don't you get rid of the welfare state? And then you won't need immigrants. You won't need immigration. Now, from an economic policy, I actually am for immigrants because just like gold or precious metals or lithium or industrial metals or oil or any kind of other commodities, labor is a commodity. Labor is well, it's probably the most important commodity because otherwise the rest of the materials are just materials that never get unearthed and used anything. And I'd be very much for immigration of your smartest and brightest and best. Yeah, we'll take your doctors. Yeah, we'll take your engineers. No, we're not going to take your single moms who are crossing the Rio Grande thinking that somehow their mistakes are going to be left once they cross that magical line in the dirt because I'm in America now. Here's my 3 children with no father in sight. Now I'll make it. So, if you were to be an intelligent country, a smart, long thinking, long term planning, sustainable country, not to mention a competitive one, you'd be like, hey, yeah, you want to come to the land of the free, the home of the brave, Doctor Vasquez? Oh, Professor Zhang of the Institute of Technology over in Beijing, China. Would you like to come over here? Don't steal anything. Don't steal enough shit or be a spy. We would appreciate your PhD coming over here helping us out domestically. Um, but you do not have such savvy or intelligent people right now. They're just bringing in raw numbers uh, to, I would say, in a vain hope, try to shore up all the welfare programs every Western nation has. And then the Democrats also are more than happy to bring immigrants in because they're going to vote Democrat and create demand for the welfare. It's short-sighted. It's not sustainable. I mean, I'll take all your doctors and IT STEM PhDs. They'll take in everybody else that's going to collect a welfare check or simply don't generate. Not to say they don't work or they're not going to generate any economic capacity, but they're going to consume more resources than they're producing. Generally speaking, not always. Depends on who they are, what education, things like that. But yeah, it's kind of funny you all fall for this lie that, oh, like, "Oh my god, the population is decreasing." And then here's the classic one, we throw it right back at just to show you they're being liars. I thought that was good because you wanted to save global warming. Shouldn't we have declining populations? Uh, uh, uh. Uh, but when you point out, so what if the population decreases? So what? There's just less of us and more of the country. I guess prices for land goes down. I mean, it's a funny thing. You Zoomers and millennials who like to own homes, but you can't vote for more immigrants to come quick enough. You can't wait to have more people come into the country. A sensible country would say, wait a minute, housing isn't affordable. Stop bringing in immigrants. Not that you're against immigrants or anything. It's like, no, we got issues here right now. Um, as an economy advances, my favorite is, oh, Americans won't do the work. Well, one of the benefits of having an advanced growing economy is that your wages would go up. Say, well, kids aren't working fast food anymore. And I understand criticisms of work ethic that are real. There's a lack of work ethic among younger Americans. I get that. But you do realize that one of the benefits of having such production, technological advancement, such high production in GDP is that, okay, well, we can't get little Jimmy to go work fast food for $5 an hour anymore because there's no other labor and he could go to college or trade school or something like that. So we better, without laws, without forcing a minimum wage laws, we better pay Jimmy $25 an hour. That's one thing I've never understood of Democrat people, not politicians, people in general. You want higher wages. Why do you bring in so many people? Why are you for bringing in so many people, legally or not, that directly lower the lowest incomes, the lowest wages that you're all competing for? If we had removed immigration, say for the past 40 years, like legal or not, doesn't mean just no more people came in, say, than 40 years ago. What, you don't think wages on the lower entry level wouldn't be higher now? You don't think it, but oh, we gotta. And then here corporations are a little, oh, what pay domestic real Americans $15 an hour to go pick fruit? Hey, Javier, come on over. Here's under the table $2 an hour, which you and your family of 6 living in a garage can barely afford. But you could talk sense all day. I have talked sense all my life and used numbers and you could talk, but you know what? It Japan's done this too. I don't care how prideful of a nation you are, homogenous in the case of Japan. You have seen human nature belie itself, tell on itself, show its true nature to the whole world through Western civilization. You will gladly give up the greatest civilization, the greatest technological advancements, the greatest hope for humanity to get off this earth before the sun goes a supernova or super giant, red giant. And again, you have given up on the greatest civilization that gave the greatest hope to all of humanity because you want free shit. That's it. That's how important free shit is to people. Now, some people who are individualists and want to work hard and or maybe just like, no, I want to accomplish something, right? You're not interested in the free shit. But at the end of the day, human nature, they will throw everything the fuck away for free shit. They will. Women threw it. Listen to me, not even being women threw away men so they could get government checks. Why would they? Why? And kind of from a survivalistic standpoint, they're not necessarily wrong. I mean, to get a guy, you got to work hard, stay in shape, be nice, be kind. All right, just vote. We have a democracy. Well, you're going to give me the money and preferential treatment and all that. Now, this is to say all women are collecting welfare, not by a stretch. The Industrial Revolution has made white collar work available for everyone. Many, if not the majority of women, would like to work jobs, white collar, don't have to toil in the fields. But humans will always take the easiest path out, usually at the detriment to everything else. Usually at the detriment to everything else. And you could point out, well, technically, decreasing populations don't matter. You just got to get rid of the welfare state that doesn't rely on future generations of children. So, I mean, literal tax slaves to pay for your free shit. And then people say, especially boomers and old people approaching, whoa, give up the free shit. Oh, what? What? The free shit? I don't want to give up the free shit. Oh, fuck America. Fuck Western civilization. Fuck inventions and fighting off Nazism and fascism and fuck all that. Well, we need to get and now because there's not enough young children being born, young slaves, now we got to get immigrant slaves to come in. And like, hey, free shit. I'll just work and do the thing and pay our social security money and other taxes too. Other taxes, please. Bipsy over here needs Javier and Juan and Esteban and Vladimir to work extra so that she could get her student loan bailout because, it's just, Bipsy, she can't possibly work another job to pay off her student loans for her journo degree, right? I mean, come on. So yeah, that's kind of the basically the economic brass tacks of shrinking populations as it applies to the West. We're not going to give up our free shit. We will gladly give up whatever countries or cultures we have for free shit. Come on in and do the work we don't want to do. We're too busy getting college degrees. We're going to study ourselves for 8 years. I'm going to become a women's studies professor. Javier, build my roof. Oh. Background. My question isn't specific to my country. We lack freedom of speech in this country to openly discuss this tough question. But for example, my country's keen at importing foreign people seemingly at all costs to replace natural born. So yes, because as a whole, your country values the welfare state. And I guarantee it's going to be the social pension, old person retirement pension, more than the country itself. I mean, that'd be a tangent to discuss some other time. To replace natural born citizens, so much so we like the ability to house them and rent buy houses has gone through the roof as inflation due to social spending. Right. The Democrats are somewhat or leftist, whatever the political parties are in your country. They're like, oh shit, we need more people to pay for the free shit. Right. But they didn't go so far as like, well, maybe we should train our population and the incoming population to be builders and producers to produce housing, which I would say is one of the most basic requirements, your basic needs. They're not even doing that. It is here's kind of what it's no different than, although it'll be a little bit more complicated. It's no different than the slave traders on the African continent who not the white dudes that came in from wherever, Europe in general. It's the Africans themselves who would enslave the other fellow Africans of a warring tribe to the white slave traders. That's what it is, because there was some financial benefit or political gain. It's short term. It's like, okay, yeah, well, you got those guys to go and be slaves, but the next group of white men coming, they might take you as a slave. But this is short-sightedness, but they just care about the next election cycle. So yeah, you essentially have leftist politicians selling the country down the road to enrich and be reelected and avoid real work at the end of the day because they don't want to work. And they'll be popular and then they'll die, but they won't care what happens to the country afterwards because they got theirs. Simplifying it. So, thinking about intelligent things, infrastructural things like, oh, we need more housing, more roads, this and that. Are we building more if we're going to have a growing population, are we going to add nuclear power plants? Are we increasing the electric supply? I don't know. I'm not a civil engineer, but I doubt it. I mean, because here's another thing. Okay, immigrants come in. They're not unless they trained for it specifically in their home country. It is doubtful the majority of the immigrants coming in have the skill pool within them to create the infrastructure, like linemen and whatever, to support the added population. And the domestic Americans are too busy with jerk off studies in college, like DEI and self-worship studies and poetry. So the infrastructure will be taxed. So yeah, it's not sustainable. That's why I linked to a book called Enjoy the Decline. I wrote that book, 12 years ago? Enjoy the Decline, guys. And we could vote it now. You could vote for this, out. You can deport people. It's not hard. Okay, it might be time consuming, a little costly. You could close down the borders. You could slowly, you could cut the welfare spending. You could make it like, well, yeah, you don't get no money. Sorry. Say, here's a boat going back to whatever country you want to go to. know? Sorry you were lied to by George Soros's kids for coming here and like you just we could choose, but what's most important to Westerners? Free shit. Wait, we could have affordable housing and we could get rid of the immigrants and wages might go up and we could have a more sensible immigration policy. We could have our culture back, but we'd have to give up the free shit. Oh, whoa, whoa. Come on now. This is, I mean, among many, many other reasons. Look, and I've seen this coming long ago when I was a young man, when I was in my 20s. Uh, uh, Americans and Westerners in general, it's the good times, hard men, soft time, all that. You just have a bunch of people who are just soft and want to be popular. I saw it happening back with the Gen X. Like, oh my God, I just want to be nice. And everything is free. Blah, 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 blah. You should just Gen X should have just been given a bunch of pacifiers in the 20s. They could suck on little babies. Um, you'll find out. We have a democracy. We're going to vote. You have a democracy. You're going to vote. You're going to find out which way it goes. You'll find out whether your countrymen, free shit or a country. Which do you want? You'll have free shit for a little bit, and then you still get checks, but there won't be no shit to buy it with. Because anyone who was producing said, "Why am I working so hard when I could get free shit too? I'm done." Oh no, where all the food things go? Oh my God. It says here in the law passed by the Democrats, Free Shit for Everyone Act, that we should get free shit. But there's no free shit. Ah. And the immigrants there, just so you know, the immigrants coming here. Oh, welcome to a sinking boat. Welcome aboard. You thought crossing that line in the dirt where you're going to be better, huh? With your 3 rat bastard children from 5 different fathers. Oh, are you in for a shock? Oh. Uh, Social cohesion is declining, although it's not easy to quantify, but it's obvious in places like here. The pool of qualified and talented immigrants can immediately benefit our society appears to be ever diminishing. Right. Like I said, if you had a good immigration policy, yeah, you come on in. Are you a doctor? Are you an engineer? Are you a mechanic? Come on in. But let's be honest, liberal white women need to be popular more than come on in, everybody. Here's some of my husband's money to pay for your shit. Vote for me, popular liberal white woman who's pissed off as all hell. Given you're a numbers guy, what did the numbers say about this issue? Is there a clear winner? Are we doomed either way, aka enjoying the decline? Well, I mean, I'd have to go look at the numbers and what percent, but right now the numbers manifest in the pricing. And I would say that is housing would be probably the most telling one. Housing is right now, you got way too many people and not enough housing. You should be sending people back, not, violently. I mean, but with force, like, yeah, if you don't, we're gonna whatever, tase you, lock you up, and ship you out. Right? But yeah, right now, the West is approaching a point it can no longer house itself. And if you imported a bunch of tradesmen, right? All you did was import a bunch of Mexican working crews, right? Okay, well then your supply of housing per capita or production per capita would go up. You would be able to, but we're not. There's another thing. I can't speak to every country. I'm not even the United States. I don't even know if these immigrants are allowed to work. I think the Democrats just, step 1, collect underpants. And now we're at step 2. You're not even allowing them to work. Okay, well, they're not even producing things or stuff now. I didn't vote for it, so I'm okay. I'm fine with this. Other people, namely liberal white women who wanted to be popular for the past 40 years, they voted for this. But to give you the numbers, yes, that would be the first thing I would say is like housing is becoming unaffordable for the majority of people. You've brought in too many people and or you've not built enough housing, and the people you brought in are not building the housing. I guess other things you'd be looking at would be the price of electricity. I mean, what do humans consume? Electricity, the price of food. We could, kind of consume everything. You could look at traffic, but I don't know necessarily that these immigrants are buying cars. Um, it's wages. That's another one. Wages on the lower economic scale. That's my friend. I want higher wages. We're unions. Let's vote for more people to come in and compete against us. Why are wages so low? So but I would say yes, it's not tenable. You will not be able to sustain traditional Western standards of living by importing a bunch of people who are not or lack the capability or training or skill set to maintain said standards of living, and in a lot of cases disproportionately just go on welfare or some form of government aid, while at the same time having a domestic population all pissing away tremendous amounts of capital on worthless horseshit college degrees that also don't produce houses and food and goods and stuff, with a work mentality and work ethic that is absolute shit non-existent. It's not complex. This isn't advanced. It's very simple. So yeah, this is not there's not like, I mean, clear winner. What's going to happen? Just what I'm going to happen. We will not give up the free shit. Your leftist politicians will not give up the free shit or their careers. We will import an unsustainable amount of people. Standards of living will collapse. You'll have countries, but I think different. Like I've said long ago, I think we're all going to become Brazil, where it's going to be like everybody's in Brazil. All different racial groups, ethnicities are going to be in Brazil. It's going to be like Brazil. If you want to read my book, A World Without Men, I kind of forecast that the United States will end up being more like, not culturally like Croatia, but income per capita like Croatia, like a 17 to $19,000 per capita GDP, adjusted for inflation. Um, a collapse, I'd take a big grid or civil war type of thing to happen. I think it's just going to be a nice medium paced trot to second world standards of living. Um, and the sheep, they'll be as long as we got free shit. I mean, for example, look at Mexico. Mexico, and forgive me for my limited knowledge of Mexican history, but it was the PRI, People's Revolutionary, after the Mexican Civil War. And that party was in power for damn near forever. And then it was, I could look it up, but I think it was Vicente Fox or somebody else came in. The PRI was so corrupt and it had become so inept and so generally socialistic and criminal even. The Mexican people had enough. I don't believe Vicente Fox may have been the first president of Mexico that was PND. Atham, tell me if I'm right on it. Somebody will know. And they had that for a little bit, and then they went back to socialism and free shit with Laborador, and now more recently the gal they just elected. And I don't know if there was a president in between. I really didn't. In the olden days, I used to pay a lot more attention to foreign politics. I'm not paid to do it anymore. But the general point is, I'm saying Mexico had a shot. They had a shot to get rid of the dumb shit. And then in came a leftist, more free shit. And the Mexicans who just recently wanted to give more free shit, you say? And the guy said, see, more free shit. And I said, well, I can't wait for vote for that now. Por qué no dinero? It's just human nature, man. I have tried for the longest time to get people to have their broccoli and eat their Brussels sprouts and work out and set down the ice cream. You can't do it. It just like someone going into the hospitals, not until they got a heart attack or they got to have a foot amputated do they start taking things seriously. And I only got one life, and I'm done arguing with people. I'm gonna let the real world make my arguments for me. So yeah, it's you are going to have here's the very simple thing. regardless of how your population, what constitutes your population, domestic or immigrant, if people ain't working, you don't have the GDP. You ain't got the economy. You don't have affordable things. If you have a group of hardworking people in your country busting their asses off, working hard, and they get to keep the majority of their production, it doesn't go to a welfare state. So some political party can bribe people for votes, and a genuinely worthless percentage of the Democratic vote of the democracy can say, I voted for the free shit, so I'm so popular. Yay! I have value. Like we're in a weird, fucked up, mentally ill way that socialism is your religion. If that's a value to you, if that's it, yeah, you're not going to have production. You're not going to have first world standards of living. And I fucking don't care. I don't give a shit. Look, man, you as a group of people can't even vote. One, you're not going to work. And two, you're not even going to vote to maintain the integrity of your own goddamn nation because free shit. Fuck it. Fuck it, man. No, I'm done. I'm not gonna try and argue that. So there you go. Our leaders, media, and CEO clappy public have made the decision that they will import everyone and seemingly everyone. But is this solution better than accepting our society's childless fate? The best outcome would be you had no welfare state and the population just happened to decline, and then children of the next generation inherited 2 houses instead of 1. You would have your culture. Look, in order to have a culture, the culture must want to maintain the culture. This culture voted not to maintain the culture. There it is. All right. But if there's no welfare state, if there's no, especially social security program, then it's okay if your population declines from an economic standpoint and you can maintain your cultural integrity in your country if you like. But if you, human nature is to always want free shit and the easy way out. And once you make it free shit, there is always the temptation to go and say, well, let's bring in other people from poor and because there's no lack of poor people. Come here, vote for us, and we give you free shit. Oh my God, free shit. And then they say, wait a minute, other people are coming into our country and taking it over. But you don't want to give up the free shit, do you? Oh God, no, I don't want to give up the free shit. All right, there you go. That's it. It's the last chapter of your book. Again, you voted for this. All the liberal white women just couldn't be popular enough. And all you dipshit, oh, I agree, anything to get laid. Yeah, you're right. I hate the Republicans. So there you are. Yeah, I mean, and here now I don't know which country you're from, but here in the United States, we're a nation of immigrants, but that was the whole thing. Is like, no, you ain't getting free shit. Come here, sink or swim, join. You're going to get into the melting pot. Now, oh, free shit. Well, whatever. There's no reason to melt into the melting pot or maintain American tradition. None. We'll have a flag. We'll have baseball games and all that. But the idea of rugged individualism and American exceptionalism, no, we're just going to be, we'll have the U.S. flag. We'll have our baseballs and hot dogs. We will be nothing different than Brazil or Croatia. No offense to either of those countries. Senjuro, $2. I wish population stats, housing demands were honest. Well, they are. Okay. It is honest. Go look at housing prices. Go look at rent prices. Supply and demand. There it is. Now, yes, interest rates have an effect on that too. But are rental prices high or housing prices high? There are. Well, then it's one of two things or a combination of both. We got too much population. Or we don't have enough housing or a combination of both. There it is. Externa plays. $10. Disagree. Look at Malcolm Collins' video on the subject. We are on track for a 1 in 5, 100 persons alive by today in 21, even Africa. Uncle Ted was right about industrialism, mouse utopia all the way down. Okay, I'll have to go look at Malcolm Collins. All right. Nonstop Dre, $2. It's all just communism. Yes, it is. It is. Free shit is communism, right? It'll work a while if you're on the back of a capitalist economy, a free market economy where people are working and allowed to keep. But when you just all of a sudden take away everybody's wealth, you take away all their labor through taxation, or you just offer people free shit. Say, well, why am I working if I could go get free shit? At the end of the day, it's just communism. And I'm sure 100 years from now, when we go through the cycle and American communism collapsed like Soviet communism, they're going to go, that was a real communism. Hanko Flamio, $5. If shrinking populations don't matter, then individuals don't matter because it is one trending to zero. Only cults and corpse can matter. No, the as long as humanity is here, like if we had no humans left, then I'd be a little bit worried. But this isn't a terminal shrinking. There will always be a certain amount of humans. And I think environments would change where people would want to have sex again, where, women would find men attractive again, men would find women attractive. And it's cultural reasons that I don't think the human race would ever go away. All I'm saying, it's okay if your population shrinks by half. Now, it looks like it's going to zero. Okay, you might have an issue there. But that's fine. You don't have to have a bunch of kids. It's okay. Dre, $2. Carlson's school. Cappy owes us his success. Admit no. No. Big ol' lawsuit would be coming. Big ol' lawsuit. Erica Shanta Williams. Everyone go. Please subscribe to Erica. $5. These new people who work 2 years, report taxes, buy a home, buy cars and trucks, all while paying taxes. In Austin, Texas, Latino home ownership up. Right. I'm not saying that they're not, but on the whole, if I'm looking at budgets, if I'm looking at state and federal budgets, they're consuming more than they're producing. Yeah, okay. They build a house, and God bless them, a lot of roofers, right? And you produce, say, $50,000 in GDP. But if your family of 8 is consuming $70,000 in welfare and all that, it's a net negative. But yeah, no, if you want to work and produce, I'm not necessarily against it. But right now, too many people like, no, close it, send some people back. There would also have to be a tremendous re-education of the American population about work ethic. Uh, it's like, yeah, you're gonna mow your own damn yard. Ross the skunk, $5, dollar for each foot of Cappy's height. Dre, $2. Bangladesh government turned off their internet. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Bangladesh. And Dre, $2. I saw a Carlson ad on your video. Really? Okay, by the way, no one should attend the Carlson School of Management. No one should attend that school. Don't go to that school. It's a very bad school. There you go. All right. That's it. Link below. Enjoy the decline. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.